In this video, I'm going to talk about the GoPro Player that I downloaded for my Mac and how it saved one of my video projects. So I recently got the GoPro Player after I got the Hero 11, and I was recording in the 8:7 ratio, and I realized that when you record with that, it does not have hyper smooth boost stabilization. It's only stabilization on. It's okay, but it's not as smooth as boost. And I recorded a whole project, and this is not the one that it saved. I'll talk about that one in a minute. But I recorded a whole project with the 8:7 ratio, and even though the footage was good, it was not as stable as I wanted it to be. So I paid the $100, yes, $100 to get the player, and I was able to make that project more stable. But the video project that it saved was one that I recorded up in the mountains over the summer up in Pisgah, where my son and I rode Avery Creek. What happened was the day before I was recording a review with the GoPro inside, and I did not want to use Hypersmooth, and so I turned the stabilization off. And I completely forgot that I turned stabilization off and did a whole fun day of riding with my son, only to realize that night that the video was unusable, like the stabilization was off. And I'm going to show you an example as I show you how to use the player. It's very easy to use. And so the other night I was like going to sleep, and I just downloaded the player, and then it occurred to me I could probably use that to save the video clips where I had zero stabilization on, and sure enough, it worked. And so I'm gonna show you the video before I stabilized it with the player and then afterwards. So just to give you a quick demonstration of the GoPro Player, when you open it, you'll see Open Media, and you browse out to the videos that you want to stabilize. So I'm going to show you this one as an example. By default, it's going to have the steady on. So this little button that says Real Steady On, I'm going to toggle it off just to show you what this clip looked like before I stabilize it. Now again, I forgot to put stabilization on, so this is about as shaky as a GoPro is going to get. And by the way, this was a Hero 10. I found that the stabilization on the 10 and 11 is about the same with boost on. So you can see, like, I just wouldn't use that. Like, that would make people sick if I tried to use that video. So now I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to turn Real Steady on by toggling this button. And I'm going to push the space bar on my computer to get it going again. And that's stabilized. Now you can also change the level of stabilization. So there's a controls. I usually leave the smoothness on 50, because if you go too high, it's going to get too jello-y. It's going to look too artificial. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So I want to apply the adjustments. It's going to take a second there. It's going to crop in too. And I see too much artifacting, too much jello in the video, and also, like I said, it crops in too much for my taste. So I'm going to change this back to 50, and then I'm going to show you how to export it. So we'll put it at 50, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to export it. So what you do is you go to File, Export, or you can do Command E on your keyboard. So let's go to Export. And then I usually do HEVC because that's an MP4 file. Now I'm on a Mac, and I do not do ProRes because that is a massive file. I mean, like 9-10 times bigger. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to just basically leave everything else. This is a 5K video. You can see the pixels and everything there. I'm going to leave the smoothness on 50. Now again, if you wanted to, make it smoother, try it if you want, but to me, it gets too artificial. And all you do is click on Next, and then I'm going to save it. So what I do is I keep the original clip, and I just put an S after the clip for the new name, and that way I know which one is stabilized, and just click on Save. And this was, I don't know how long this clip was, but it was fairly long, and so this one's probably going to take a couple minutes. So it's not crazy long. This does add more to your workflow. So I'm going to use Boost as much as I can, and then of course if I shoot that big 8:7 ratio, then I would probably go through this workflow. So that's the GoPro Player, and I wanted to make this video to show it to you how it worked and how it might save one of your video projects like it saved mine. Even though it's $100, it is a pretty useful piece of software and one that I'll probably keep using in the future, especially with the GoPro Hero 11 when I want to shoot in that big square, that 8:7 aspect ratio, where I want to just pick different parts of the frame that I want to use and even shoot a vertical video from the same clip. Because like I said, that aspect ratio does not have hyper smooth boost stabilization. So any questions or comments that you may have, drop those below. Thanks for watching.